Hello and welcome to the Inner Gamer Next, where we play a video game and figure out if it should or shouldn't be next up on your video game playlist. We've talked many times about Battlefield 5,
yes,
but now Chapter 5 has arrived.
Good things,
of
bad
Battlefield
things.
5.
Yes,
and with it they brought Pacific Theater with 2 maps. Let me know your first impressions.
well,
How do you feel about this?
Last time we talked about this was when they had the Battle Royale, and I didn't have good things to say about it. I think you're okay with it.
I was fine with it, but then soon realized afterwards, like, it was not fun.
No.
The load time sucked, and it just...
Because Apex came out, I think...
Yeah, Apex killed it.
Right before it, and then it's just like, well, there's no reason to even jump into this. Anyway, we got some playtime. It was okay. This came out, needless to say, I was a little reluctant to jump into it.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, Brett, we'll play it for you. You know.
I know, these guys were like, let's play... Or first we're going to play Call of Duty, and then Travis apparently has gotten rid of Call of Duty already. So that was lame. And then you guys were going to play... And then you guys went and bought Remnant. I'm like, what the heck? We're going to play a game that we've already played. They were like, let's play Battlefield 5. This new Pacific Theater just came out. It's like playing the old days of Battlefield 5. Let's go do it. So we got it.
So I was like, yeah, we might have some good times in there. It's been a while since we jumped into it. And man, did we have some good times, Brett. I enjoy both of these because it's just 2 maps, right?
Yeah, just 2 maps.
These things are, they're very, very well designed, like balanced. You have high points, you have low points, you have places to hide and like brush and stuff, and you can attack any objective from all directions. And I think they really put time and effort into making this amazing. And I know there was like early on, I guess almost a year ago or a few months ago, early this year or something like that, they were talking about them going to Hawaii and stuff like that and actually looking at the area, taking lots of photos. And dude, some of these rocks, if you have your settings optimized right to look good and stuff, some of these rock faces or cliff faces, holy shit, they look super real,
right?
And it blows my mind, like looking at it.
Yeah, even Modern Warfare can't compete with the graphic quality of Battlefield 5.
Well, Modern Warfare still has, like, even now, Call of Duty still has that kind of old school. I even want to kind of say it's kind of a cartoony look to it, but I know it's not. It's the best way I can explain it. It just still feels dated, even though the graphics have been updated quite a bit for Modern Warfare. But
it looks way better. But yeah, there's definitely the textures aren't near as detailed.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had a blast, man. Now I'm excited to jump back into it. You know, they kind of have a battle pass type thing where each week you complete a bunch of stuff by playing, different modes and things and going for different objectives. Like, I think one's like, resupply your teammates 7 times or something like that. And as you progress, you get cool unlocks that you can only get that week. So if you don't get them, you don't get them.
It's called Tides of War is that component. So that's their version of a battle pass, basically. But you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's free. It's awesome. All this stuff's been free, so it's just like easy to jump in and have a good time. Obviously, they have loot boxes, but screw those loot boxes. They're not enticing enough.
I don't know. Can you buy the loot box? I think those just come with progression, don't they? You can buy like gear.
You can buy. Some of it is paid.
Maybe there is some loot boxes you can buy.
I checked it out because I was curious. Yeah, some of it's paid. You could buy Battlefield points or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can like buy like cosmetic items and stuff. But
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if you can buy an actual loot box.
Okay, like it might not be loot boxes, but there is microtransactions that can be purchased. Yeah, man, I cannot say any more good things about it. It's so good.
Yeah, so there's 2 maps that they came out with for the initial launch of Pacific Theater in Chapter 5. And Iwo Jima is one of them. And Iwo Jima is... They have a new mode called... I forget the name of it, but it's basically an assault mode where you have the attackers, usually the Americans, who are attacking the island, and the defenders, who are holed up in the mountain. And this is a really cool, unique take on Iwo Jima because... You have the boats coming in from outside, so you can spawn in the boat and jump into a U-boat, or you can jump into a tank, amphibious boat, tank thing. There's planes like you used to know and love back in the day. And then once you get onto the island, you have these different maps around the lower portion of it. But what's really unique about this map is the upper mountain area. And the mountains go from outdoor, exterior, sniper-friendly capture points to underground close quarter caves, like caves within the mountains that you're capturing like 3 points through. And I think that's such a cool dynamic to it. So there's always like Battlefield's always been known for having these different kind of choke points, and there's like certain map like capture points that are kind of the main where all the combat kind of lies, and then the other map or the other capture points are just kind of like there, and people just like tug of war trying to capture each one of those. But in this one, I feel like there's one central like cave area that's the region that is always contested, and it's such a cool differentiate. It kind of reminds me of Operation Underground, which I haven't played yet in Battlefield 5, but it is Operation Metro, and where like you had that outside area, but then a lot of the combat took place underground in the subway system, and that was such a cool differentiation. And then not only do you have Iwo Jima, but then you have the map Pacific Storm, which is a series of little islands. So you start out in the water if you're Americans, and the Japanese held up on these islands. And this reminds me of Parasail Storm from Battlefield 4. Remember that map where you had like the hurricane that came in and like caused all the chaos and stuff like that? And this even has a feature like that where it's like after a while, like you start getting like a typhoon or whatever that's coming through, and it gets dark and creepy and stuff like that. But this is such a good... There's trenches that are really deep and intense and full of excitement, and then you have all the like a bunker system for one map, and I mean there's just all this detail that's just absolutely incredible. And then in December we get Wake Island coming back, which is also like hell yeah.
Yes,
can't wait,
dude. I can't wait either. I can't wait for it. Like I'm excited about Battlefield again. I don't know, playing so much, Call of Duty has its place, but for me, it just died out pretty quick. Playing Battle Royale is exciting and, makes for quick action-paced time, but sucks a lot of time out of your day, or it can. But the Battlefield, I know the matches are longer, but again, you have that ability to, if you're dying, you can kind of come back from that and you can continue to push forward. And there's a lot of explosions and things going around depending on where you're at, and there's a lot of great points of interaction in these maps, even though they kind of look small because there's like lots of water around them and stuff, so there's only so much land. But man, there's action happening everywhere. Like me and Travis are playing which is the one that had the storm in it. Do you know what it's called?
That was a Pacific Storm.
Yeah, so there's a part where there's like a bunker base in the middle of the field. I think it's location D. And so, like, if you get a lot of people fighting there, there's a lot of places to go, hide, run around, take cover, and it's just like an all-out battle to get that flag, because the flag's right in the middle, and it's kind of in an open area, but there are a few places, depending on which side you're on, that you can kind of take cover on. And man, somehow I went in there, I died, Travis and Sarah there. Travis died, and Sarah was stuck in a bunker, but there's a bunch of people outside the bunker. Somehow she survived, and we ended up spawning in on her. And then we had a cavalry come, and so we just started pushing into this base, and it was an amazing experience, like watching all of our team like kind of just come to this one point, and it's just the whole, like, both sides were just fighting it out in this one location, and it's just so much happening. It's just you can't get that with any other game.
Yeah, and there's so many different areas and choke points that you can kind of lay claim to for this many players. Like there's 64 players in here, but what's really cool about it is that, for example, I was playing Borderlands 3 last night, and it's linear map design. It's it's open area, but you can clearly see like the map, and then these little nooks off to the side that kind of go off to this little region that you're like, oh, I want to go over there and explore what that area is. And then you get there and realize there's nothing there. I'm like, what's the purpose of this little corner if there's nothing here? Like maybe eventually they'll add content to it or whatever, but there's nothing there. In this, I feel like no matter where you go obviously it's a little bit different, but in this game, no matter where you go, it feels like there's a purpose to the map, but it also feels very natural and organic. It doesn't feel like a map that's intentionally designed. Like it feels like a regular world that you're exploring that is just like a real location, but there's intentional decisions made with every component of this game and this map to, get you flowing in the right directions, which we'll talk about later on in our discussion topic. But it's so good.
And with this one, I feel like they are kind of going back to some of these classic maps and layouts, because I think one of the reasons I kind of fell off Battlefield 5 or was a deciding factor is that some of the maps that they have now aren't as well designed in hindsight, and kind of have this like arena style layout in a way. A lot of close quarters and like very narrow hallways, and you can go into buildings and stuff. And this is like very classic, very open. There's places to hide, but you got to find your way to get from one place to the next. Obviously, there's planes and stuff going. It's just like that's the kind of Battlefield I remember playing back in the day.
Well, I think too, a lot of these, like those original maps that the game came out with, although they're really awesome, they didn't have any like iconic components to them a whole lot. I mean, they may have had one area that was like, this is an iconic region of it, but it was one central place. Whereas some of these other maps have a lot of areas that are really cool to explore. Like Pacific Storm, like that map there, when you're playing that mission where it's the tug of war kind of a game mode, the attackers and defenders, you have two bases that are completely different. One is that big, huge bunker that has a center area that's wide open, but it has all the like side, like, you know, bunker areas made of concrete. And then the other side is the same kind of idea, but all trenches and, you know, trench dugout, pillboxes and stuff like that. So it's similar in design, but they're both iconic areas that there's a lot to do in them that you want to congregate around those regions. Plus there's obviously a map, you know, a flag there that you have to capture, but they're different. But there's two locations, whereas that one map that takes place, I forgot the name of it, but that one we played at the very end that we're getting pissed off at, that we always get pissed off in, I think it's one in Africa. It's called Aerodrome, the one with the big huge airplane hangar.
Oh yeah,
like I like that map, the look of it and everything, but I feel like that map gets really unbalanced in that most of the combat centers around that center airplane hangar, and that's where everybody congregates. And then the outside maps is just a constant, like people are just going around in circles to capture those flags, and then you never control that. If you control the center, you control the game, but the rest of them don't really matter.
Right.
And
I feel like that's an issue with a lot of the ones.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Like, and I think that's why it kind of fell off, because you can't get those objectives. And with these new maps, like it's easy to change the tide of battle.
Yeah,
you know,
well, like that map in France or Holland or whatever that has the big ass bridge with the two flags on it. You know, you control that bridge, you control the game.
Right.
Their other maps are just kind of secondary.
Right.
Or the other flags are secondary.
Yeah. So the other map, Iwo Jima.
Yeah,
I had an amazing time on that with me and Travis and Sarah. So we got a tank and we were holding D, but we were winning at first because we had more flags than the other team. Then they got their shit together and started messing with us, and then we were like losing. And then towards the end of the map, I was like, holy crap, we're not that far behind. We can still do this. We were like maybe 10 people behind. And me and Travis and Sarah like started taking points like crazy. And it was just kind of cool because the action was it was just nonstop for like 10 minutes. Like we'd go capture a flag, Travis and Sarah go down. I kill the people somehow, luckily killed the people killing them, got them back up. We'd go to another objective, get that, move to the last one. So we're at this last point where if we got it, we would probably win, or at least we would be really close. And it was down to like the wire. And we were taking this objective because we cleared all the guys out, but 3 tanks rolled in at the last minute with a whole bunch of troops coming from D because we were at E. And you can just see them coming down the field, and we're like, oh my God, we're like trying to kill people. There's explosions everywhere. And they won by 6 people. And it was the most crazy, exciting experience I've had in Battlefield in a long time.
Yeah.
6 people. Like everyone was fighting for their life. It was surreal. You can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, no other game has really been able to capture that. And what's crazy to me is there's maps that I'm just looking at on the map list that I haven't even played yet that have come out, dripped out throughout the course of the last couple months. Like Al Sundan, which is based off of the single player campaign. Like I haven't played that yet. I haven't played Operation Metro. There's that one Greece map, Marita, I haven't played yet. Mercury was really cool. I like Mercury a lot. But there's a lot of maps that have been released that I still haven't even touched yet. So I'm glad that they're keeping it supported, and I hope they continue to support it through next year, since they did announce they're not making a Battlefield next year.
Right.
Hopefully they keep this one running, because they've gone to the point now where there's just so much in this game and so much content to unlock that it's just so fun that yeah, keep it going. Keep people coming back to it. I mean, this Pacific Theater got a slew of new videos coming out on YouTube now that they release this content, and they release it for free. It's 2 maps. There's nothing crazy about it, but it got a ton of people talking about how like Battlefield's awesome again. So keep it up, EA. DICE, not EA. It's DICE that's doing this.
Come on, DICE.
I don't want to give EA credit. So